This only a few days from the funeral for Senator Clementa Pinckney, which will take place on Friday, and which will see a delegation, the likes of which is rare. The last kind of delegation that attended a state funeral of this magnitude was the Senator Ted Kennedy's funeral, Beau Biden's funeral, Senator Robert Byrd's funeral. And on Friday, Michelle Obama, the House Speaker John Boehner, the House Democratic Whip Steny Hoyer, the GOP leader Steve Scalise, the Representative Kevin McCarthy, and several other senators will join President Obama in traveling to Columbia and traveling to South Carolina to be at the funeral for Senator Pinckney. It will be President Obama who delivers the eulogy on Friday. CNN's Victor Blackwell is standing by, and also I'm joined by Jason Johnson, who says his real education began the day that he met Clem Pinckney. Johnson's a college professor, he's a political analyst, and he's live in Atlanta as well. Professor, I'll ask you to stand by for a moment so I can just check in with my colleague just to get a feel for the silent pictures that we're watching. Victor?
Silent really is the right characterization of this. There are hundreds of people, maybe more than 1,000 people who are here on the State House grounds. You see the long line there as people begin to file in starting at 1 o'clock to pay their respects to Senator Clementa Pinckney. And what you're hearing from not just people inside who knew him inside the House chamber or the Senate chamber, from people who did not know him. I walked up to a woman and I asked her, why did she come here? It's 100 degrees. And she's standing outside on the street corner, and she said for her, it was not an option. She had to be here because of the reverence she had for this man, and that he was praising God when he was shot and killed, as well as those 8 other people. And again, the word silent. As that caisson came down Main Street, Ashleigh, the only things you really heard, or I heard, were the hooves of the horses hitting the asphalt and the helicopter above. I mean, people were trying to chase down the caisson and get a picture of this moment of punctuation, which in a broader spectrum is a moment of race relations, punctuation in this state. But there was silence here. And now people are beginning to file in. For the next 4 hours, his body will lie in repose here. Ashleigh?
If I could ask Jason Johnson, I'd like you to weigh in for me. What would the Reverend, the Senator, have thought about what's happening today?
It's hard to watch this. It's just hard to see him be gone. And this was not Clem. This is a guy from Jasper County. This kind of pomp and circumstance is not how he served. It's not how he served as a pastor. It's not how he served as a senator. And the amount of passion, the interest, and the pageantry, the respect, the love that's being shown now is only contrasted by the humility that he showed throughout his entire life. He was literally, I've worked for a lot of campaigns. I've worked for Republicans. I've worked for Democrats. You never forget the first campaign you worked for. He was one of the most loving, noble, humble, and sincerest men I've ever met in my life.
I have learned that he was not interested in getting donations from people who could not afford to give donations, and that's very rare among our political breed these days.
Yeah, one of the first things that happened, I'm down there and I'm like, Clem, we got to raise money, we got to get this and that for the campaign, and he was almost embarrassed to ask. He's like, look, there's people here who are poor. He's like, and I know they'll give to me. I know they'll give to me and not pay rent.
I just need to jump in for a moment. I apologize for interrupting. I want to take us to Washington for the president.
Men and women.